Well, hello there, domain name people. Today is our second interview conducted for our new video blog here at IQ. And today we're going to learn more about Scamadviser. This is a service operated by the e-commerce foundation that is used by 2.5 million customers monthly to identify and aided by the Scamadviser trust score if a web shop is a scam or not. Kaspersky now uses data from Scamadviser to help its users stay fully protected. And here at IQ, we have partnered with Scamadviser and now provide their data feed at no additional charge to our IQ Abuse Manager customers. Scamadviser is seeing scammers professionalizing rapidly. They're creating their own trust systems in the form of cert organizations, trust seals, and validated customer reviews. So we're going to talk about this and a bunch more today with the general manager of the e-commerce foundation and Scamadvisor.com, Mr. Jorij Abraham, live from Amsterdam. Well, hello everyone. This is the second edition of the IQ video blog series, and I'm really pleased today to have Jorij Abraham, who is with our partner Scamadvisor, Scamadvisor.com. And Scamadvisor.com is one of the abuse feeds that we have in our IQ Abuse Manager. And I thought this would be a great opportunity for those viewers out there that are not familiar with IQ and Scamadvisor to learn a little bit more. So I'm pleased to introduce Jorij. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the story behind Scamadvisor.
Sure. Jorij Abraham. I run Scamadvisor. Scamadvisor was conceived in 2012 by Mark, a developer from the UK. He actually started Scamadvisor because he bought a golf set online and it proved to be a fake. And as you know, nothing is more dangerous than an angry developer. So he decided to develop an algorithm which determines the likelihood of a domain name either being legit or a scam. And we took over in 2018 from Mark and have been since then continuously trying to improve the algorithm, but also set up cooperations with law enforcement, brand protection agencies, and organizations like IQ.
Well, I guess nothing like an angry developer with a bad set of golf clubs. As a golfer myself, well, kind of a hack golfer these days, but so how did you get involved with Scamadvisor?
I'm the general manager of the e-commerce foundation. And our mission is to foster global digital trade. And in 2018, Mark and I came into contact. And I really like the idea. And what we've been seeing happening in the industry is, 20 years ago, it started with malware and viruses. And since then, we've moved to phishing. And now the next bad thing, in my view, is scams. And scams can be anything where an online store is not delivering goods, or selling fakes, or actually delivering a brick and claiming to PayPal and Visa that they actually delivered the real product. But it can also be an investment scam, a Ponzi scheme, romantic dating scam. It's incredible how entrepreneurial scammers are. And the number of scams, also due to Corona, is really exploding. What we did is we did a study last year, the state of global scams. We researched 31 countries and see how they are trying to act against scams and how much money is being lost. And we estimate that the amount of money being lost in scams reported is somewhere between 31 and 32 billion euros.
Wow.
And as only 7% of all scams are actually reported, it's a huge market where a lot of people lose a lot of money. So
I would think.
Sorry.
No, I would think there's a lot of folks that are, you said that unreported. I know people. I just hear anecdotally people getting scammed, but they don't really report about it. They just sort of vent their frustration, about something and move on.
Yeah. Maybe a question to you. Do you know what Viagra, CBD, and Wix have in common?
No, what's that?
The most scam product categories, in the sense that people try to buy these products online, and they're a
Yeah.
little bit ashamed of buying them. So a lot of stores
Yeah.
are selling them, and they know the consumer will never ever go to the police and saying, "Hey, my wig never got delivered, or my Viagra pills never got delivered."
Yeah.
That's how scammers operate. I mean, this is just an innocent example.
Yeah, anecdotally, I've heard of someone that appeared to me to be getting scammed, like a dating type of scam kind of situation, you know, and extracting money from them. It was just really sad to actually see it happen in motion, you know. But I'm kind of wondering from a registry operator point of view and a registrar point of view, those that are like our typical type of clients at IQ that are dealing with abuse. Maybe you could explain a little bit about how Scamadvisor differs somewhat from a typical, you know, malware feed or, you know, the anti-phishing working group, for example.
We actually work together with the anti-phishing work group and also with the Global Cyber Alliance. We have the same goals to make the internet a safer place. Where our data differs is phishing usually has the goal, usually a brand is imitated or a bank is being imitated, and the cyber criminal is trying to get the contact details and payment details. With online scams, of course, phishing are also a kind of scams, but where we really focus on are one level higher, in the sense a product or service is being offered, but it's either never delivered, or the customer loses his money or data in other ways. I mean, shopping scams are only 16% of the kinds of scams we collect. Between 7 and 9% is cryptocurrency investments. The amount of money being lost there is really incredible. And on first phase, you would say, hey, how can anybody fall for these kind of scams? But they're getting better and better, and their websites look very professional. And last week I just had an old lady who spent 800,000 euros in an investment scam, and she still refuses to acknowledge that her money is gone, because the scammer is very good at making her believe that she's really investing in something. We focus on domains, but scammers communicate via email. Facebook is very popular.
Right.
And you can buy a fake Facebook profile on the internet, and or your account is being hacked, and suddenly your best friend is recommending you to invest in this great opportunity. And the smart scammers don't say 10% return on investment per day, because we also have those. Those are easy. No, it's 10% per year. And what they then do is they really take time. So you can see your account, you put in $100, and after 6 weeks, you see that it has grown to $120. So great. So you put in a little bit more. And sometimes you even pull out the money and you get the money back, because they will wait until you put in 10,000 or more. And then suddenly the website is gone. So they're really sophisticated.
Wow. Yeah, that's, you know, without a doubt. I mean, I had an offer to invest in cryptocurrency years ago. I wish I had done that back then anyway.
Bitcoin would have been a good investment.
$6 for a Bitcoin, I think is what it was back then. I was like, what? You know, what is this? Do I really want to throw some money into this? But I can understand how that sort of thing goes on. I think there's just different trends with abuse. You know, we saw a lot of increase in abuse in COVID-related scams. You know, early on, the alliance that got together to sort of combat this, and we joined up with that. I remember, you know, at first everyone was looking very closely at every single COVID-related domain. You know, if it actually had COVID in the string of in the domain name, or coronavirus and all that. But you know, over time, it seemed that the human vetted ones, you know, were the best. Not necessarily everything was nefarious. You know, that there actually were people trying to do good things, with domains that were registered, containing sort of keywords, related to the coronavirus and to the pandemic. And, that kind of brings up the story of false positives, and that sort of thing. And that's one thing that our customers and customers that need to deal with abuse at the registry and registrar level, are often concerned about, which is, wasting their time and resources on false positives. I'm wondering how you can, maybe perhaps you can elaborate a little bit on how you all at Scamadvisor, mitigate false positives. How do you address that sort of situation?
First of all, I mean, we do make mistakes. Everybody does. We learn in two ways. One is we get continuously, we have 2.5 million consumers checking our database on, or I should say 100,000 a day and 2.5 million unique per month. Mm-hmm. We get a tremendous amount of feedback. So these 2.5 million unique visitors a month, they mainly give us a lot of feedback if we're wrong in saying that this website is legit and it's actually not. We're being whipped quite hard. So we are very motivated to improve our trust, our algorithm there. We're also sometimes wrong in the other way, that we say a website is not reliable, but it proves to be reliable. And for that, we have a very clear process that if the merchant complains to us, we ask for a company registration and ID, and we can solve it in 1 or 2 minutes if we're wrong. But very honestly, 80% of we only get a few emails per week from merchants where they say that, hey, why do I get such a low trust score? So the number of complaints is minimal. And 80% of those complaints, if we ask for company registration or any form of ID, we don't hear anything back. Yes, we have false positives. The consumer is helping us a lot to improve our algorithm, and so our law enforcement and brand protection agencies. And if we happen to give a merchant a bad score, we can fix it very rapidly if some information is provided.
Understood. Yeah, I know from a registry level, registrars, there's sometimes apprehension to shut down, different sites with all the evidence. Having the evidence is really important in some ways, but it does seem that way. Just from what I've heard from registry operators and registrars is that if they do shut down something, a lot of times they don't hear back from anyone at all, because that they know that person knows, or whoever that organization is behind that domain, knows that they probably don't need to be advertising who they are.
And we also, in our feed, we also distinguish this has been automatically calculated, and this domain has really been reported by law enforcement to us. And if law enforcement reports it to us, they get a trust score of 0. There's no discussion.
Yeah, very low. And how can you talk a little bit more about how you actually sort of arrive at these trust scores?
Sure. We do not crawl the web, so we do not try to analyze all the domain names out there. They're simply too many. But when a consumer goes to Scamadviser.com or a business user accesses our API, we then start collecting all the information. So we check about 40 different data sources. The reviews on Trustpilot, Sitejabber, which other websites are on the same server, if they've been reported for malware and phishing in the past. We also scroll the website itself and see if we come across, for example, Bitcoin guaranteed return on investment. If you come across those kind of keywords, then you become a little bit suspicious. Yeah. So we check about 40 different data points, and based on that, our algorithm gives a score. And just to give an example, you have a .co.uk online store, but it's hosted in Romania, which is fine. But if that store offers consumer electronics, we become a little bit suspicious because there's not so much consumer electronics industry in Romania. So we lower the score a little bit. Then we see that there are 200 other websites on the same server, which are copies. Then we lower the trust score. We see that reviews on Trustpilot and SiteJabber are terrible. We lower the trust score, etc., etc. So we can also find positive things. So if they have if they spend a lot of money on technology, if we see IBM or Salesforce, I have never come across a scammer yet who is using Salesforce. So that's a plus one.
Yeah, I got another question for you, just overall. Why should registries and registrars, care?
First of all, there's the ethical point. I mean, scams are bad, and I think registrars and registries maybe not have a legal responsibility, but a moral responsibility to in the end protect consumers. But I think there's also a business reason too, because what we see now happening is that certain TLDs are nearly always being misused by scammers because they're very cheap, they're easy to register for, and that is really going to hurt their value long term. I mean, there will be a time when we say, okay, if it's that registrar, I mean, 20% are scams, then there might be some other actions being taken. So I think for the value of the company, it's good that you keep your assets clean of crime. Just as simple as that.
I agree with you. I think the beyond the business reasons, there's just the reputational reasons and moral reasons, and as an industry, as a domain name industry, we really do all need to work together, beyond what is specified, by regulatory action. And it really is important for everyone to work together and to continue to combat this, because the threats just keep evolving, and they're going to continue, to do that over time. Any other parting thoughts that you might want to throw out there in terms of what you might see on the horizon, or what you think that folks should be, thinking about, beyond just the day-to-day?
I mean, very honestly, our job will never be finished, because we see that scammers are incredible innovative, and we will just have to keep working and improving our algorithm. But I'm very happy that IQ and Scamadviser can work together and to jointly fight scams, because I think if we make the internet a safer place, then the internet will just continue to grow, and that's in the end, I think, good for everybody.
Agreed. Jorij, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and knowledge with us today. We are grateful for our partnership with Scamadviser in the fight against domain name abuse and cyber criminals. And if you'd like to learn more about Scamadviser and the IQ Abuse Manager, please refer to the link below, or feel free to contact me. Join us next week when we'll be speaking with none other than Mr. Premium.com. Until then, thanks for watching.